Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, Puclpodcast.
It's PucL! PucL! It's PucL! PucL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PucL! PucL.
Welcome to another episode of the PUCL Podcast. I am your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my spectacular co-host. We've got the one and only Lord of the Land, Seth Vilo.
It is I again for another session. Hello.
And we've got the cheery, as always, Clod 9.
Howdy doody, PucL crew. Yeah!
We're here to talk everything from Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. I am very excited. I do need to do a quick shout out though to my friends at work. We have to shout out to Kavir, to Brent, to Amber, to Kelsey, to Kurt, and to Mike. Thank you guys for being good friends.
And of course to Ryan.
Of course to Ryan. Of course to Ryan.
Of course.
Hi, Ryan.
Shouting. Shouts. Shout to the friends, to the heavens. I'm not going to do this bit. I'm going to stop now.
I think we're
please.
good. Welcome to the PUCL Podcast, though, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007. And we're just here to talk and chill and hang out. I've had a good week. So Seth and Claude, I guess, because you both are very into this.
I am.
You know what's really bad is, so last week we did
really bad.
We did the monotype team for the Pokemon of the episode.
Yes, I know. It was wonderful.
I've been playing so much monotype.
Yes.
Then I found out Little Cup was having a suspect test.
Yes, they were.
They're having a suspect test of Diglett because that's just what Little Cup does.
It's about time to test Diglett again.
It's always time to test Diglett. That's what I've learned about Little Cup.
Well, with Terra, it becomes it's better and worse.
I both agree and disagree. Like, Diglett's not that bad, but like at the same time, like, yeah, okay. I mean, if you ban Diglett, I'm not going to be upset.
Exactly.
So I started playing Little Cup again, and my new favorite thing in Little Cup is Quaxley.
Quaxley is incredible in Little Cup. Yes.
Okay, Quaxley gets Moxie, Seth. Okay, and Rapid Spin.
And Roost.
And Roost, yeah. So all you have to do is Rapid Spin like once, maybe twice, and then you just outspeed everything.
Yeah, the Quaxley line's so weird with all of its weird utility, but also not utility stats.
You just outspeed everything, and then it gets Moxie, so every time you knock out, you're just snowballing, and then Quaxley's just good. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Quaxley is just really fun in Little Cup. I'm having a good time playing Little Cup, and I will continue to do so while I figure out the meta, because I forget about a lot of the new abilities and what new Pokemon have as abilities.
Have you used Voltorb at all?
No.
Voltorb is amazing.
The one that I found like really fun utility out of is Shroodle.
Shroodle is a lot of fun.
Yeah, because it gets Unburden, right?
Yep. And
so you can pull Unburden shenanigans with base 18 speed, and that's phenomenal.
So here's the thing. When it first came out, I ended up hitting like top like 100-ish on the ladder, like when Sterling Valley just came out, based around Voltorb, because you can just Terra Ice and click Terra Ice or Electric, and everything just dies.
That is probably true.
It's Regieleki, but in Little Cup.
I had to search every dark corner, every spiderweb in my brain to remember what Shroodle was.
Dude, Shroodle is the pre-evolution of, what's that Pokemon? Oh my gosh.
Grafaiai.
And don't you feel bad for putting it in your bottom 5?
So like, I know Shroodle, but I don't know what does it evolve into? I see it Grafaiai.
Grafaiai. Yeah.
Yeah, it evolved. That's why I don't remember it, because Grafaiai isn't good.
No, Grafaiai is pretty good.
I'm going to deny you.
You can deny me all you want.
You know what's worse?
Make it untrue.
You know what's worse is this is a TCG episode, and I totally haven't been playing a ton, though I have been playing a ton like recently. Mostly because this meta really bums me out because everything's too good, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, everything's good this meta. So there's nothing like Lugia, where it's very centralizing, and you can just play counter Lugia decks, and you're fine. You can play whatever you want, and you can still lose. You can just lose, because the other deck has a better turn than you, which is both great and terrifying. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm done talking. I'm going to let you guys talk. Anything cool and new up with you?
Not since last week, no.
That's true. You were on last week.
I learned how expensive electrical work is in your house. That's something.
Okay, what did you get done in your house, though?
I'm having a plug installed so I can have a disposal unit.
You can do it yourself.
But my box is really far away, and it has to be direct circuited because that's the code in Georgia.
No, actually, if it's direct circuited and it's like in the basement versus upstairs, that is a lot.
Yep. Yes, it is.
That's a lot to do on your own.
Yep. I don't trust myself. My hair is poofy enough as it is. I don't need it to have any reason to be fluffier.
So, like, I don't want to like inspire people to do their own electrical work and like do it safely. So, in my basement, I did all new lights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we had these really bad fluorescent fixtures in the basement when we bought it. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to buy these LED lights that look like can lights. And one, I really love them. They're great now that they're installed. But during the installation, the previous owner did not label the circuits very well at all in the basement.
Oh, goodness.
So I did buy, for the record, I did buy like one of like the little circuit testers, because you can buy these. These are really cool, where they detect whether current is flowing through a wire, even if the wire isn't terminated properly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I do recommend you buy these, but like sometimes it'd be like, oh, I trusted this wire over here was fine, and this one should be on the same circuit, but it definitely wasn't. So definitely be careful, family. Definitely be careful doing your own electrical work, and maybe hire a professional.
Get professional people, please.
Yeah,
Please.
definitely get professionals.
We'll see.
I will say the chances of you dying aren't like 100%, but they are higher than 0 if you don't do it.
Shocking.
So definitely. Huh?
Shocking?
Shocking. Yeah. Yeah, definitely recommend hiring an expert. Or at least somebody to like trace out the circuit panels for you.
They
right?
may charge a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. I definitely recommend it in retrospect.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, an electrician. Yes.
Are you doing electrical work right now, Claude?
No.
Are you at your circuit breaker right now?
No, I decided I wasn't interested and started looking up Pokemon cards on TCG Player.
What were you looking up? Say that again.
Pokemon cards on TCG Player.
Pokemon cards in general.
I'm sorry our conversation wasn't electrifying.
I just didn't care anymore. I was like, all right, let me figure out something else to keep me busy.
This isn't illuminating, is it?
At least I'm honest.
That's true. But yeah. It's been a fun week. It's been a very good week. I really liked last episode, but I'm very excited to talk today because I get to like nerd out over very specific things. Because I am very excited for the next meta, and I'm very excited to talk about this meta and why I'm not a very big fan of it. And I think it's mostly because I've been spoiled that we've had the same meta for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, yep, and we'll get into the problems with it because there are problems.
Oh, absolutely. I do not disagree with either meta. There were 100% problems. And I think that's the case with every meta.
Yep, there's always something.
Yeah, I think there's always a problem. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect meta. I don't think there ever will be. But yes. Welcome to the PUCL podcast, and we're going to talk to you about everything. Every
single thing.
Everything. Nothing old, nothing new. It's just going to be everything. We're just going to cover 100% of all Pokemon. But yes, until then, we are going to kick it on over to the news. So let's cue that epic music.
Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
Welcome to the news. In the news, we've got a few things to talk about. First of all, it was Golden Week in Japan, so things didn't really happen. Pokemon and Nintendo did play Clefairy Says on Twitter, though. Wouldn't be too shocked to see a new trailer for the DLC within the next month or so, probably early July. Nintendo hasn't announced any summer plans yet in the absence of E3, but they do have financial data releasing next week, so if nothing else, we will get sales numbers. Wow, I love that the news is there will be news.
Yeah.
The news is. Insert like that radio breaking. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. The news today. There will be news next week, maybe.
Maybe.
Hopefully in the
More
future
at
we
11.
will have something.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to move on to Scarlet and Violet news with Seth Vilo.
Da 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 da. The next 7-star raid has probably been announced. I don't know that it
I don't think
has,
it is.
actually.
Yeah.
I don't think it has been.
It has not. It has not been announced at
Breaking.
all.
It's not. I'm just getting from the editors in the back that it's not been updated. We don't know it. Wait.
Do we?
It's a repeat or something. Inteleon.
Oh, it's just in Teleon again?
This is Teleon repeat.
Wonderful. Okay, moving on.
More at 11.
And now down to our field reporter, Claude, with the go.
Claude, what do you got out there?
On the go, here we have a Valorous event. Hero event starts May 11th. It adds a special Ponyta and Mega Pinsir into the game. Hisuian, Avalugg, and Braviary will be in 3-star raids if you want them.
Wow, that sounds awesome. In other news, on Go Community Day this month, it will feature the good old fox, Fennekin. It'll be May 21st, and will not only give Delphox Blast Burn, but also give access to Mystical Fire as a non-CD move. In addition, for Go specifically, April was a 5-year low for earnings, supposedly. Niantic says the estimates are incorrect and are happy that their changes have increased in-person rating. Back to you, Claude, in the field.
Yes, we have some upsetting news with TCGO as it sunsets and leaves on June 5th.
Oh dear, sounds like we gotta get our migrations done by June 5th, everybody. 5th of Juneth.
Actually, okay, so I do want to make the clarification. You do not need to get your migration done by that date. Migrations will still be available after that date.
Will they? I've seen that they're shutting down the servers.
No, they are
shutting
shutting. No, they are shutting down the server. No,
they are killing TCGO, by my understanding.
They are killing TCGO, but they did actually make the clarification that you will be able to make the changes. You will still be able to migrate afterwards.
Yeah, but you can't buy
good to
anything
know.
or go into the old game anymore.
No. You will not be able to go into TCGO and experience Pokemon as it once was.
Yeah. In other news, PTCG Live leaves beta June 8th with the release of Paldea Evolved.
Woo!
It is completely ready for this not beta.
100%.
I didn't realize.
Although if you log in now, you can get cool little deck boxes that say, "Hi, I participated in the beta when it was bad."
Beta.
Well, so the same thing happened. Okay, so we all talk about how bad TCG Live is compared to PCGO, but I played in the beta of PTCGO, and it was bad back then. So I definitely don't want to blame PTCG Live for not being ready, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't want to be mad at it because I think it is an okay client, and I actually really appreciate it being available on mobile, which is something that is desperately needed for years.
And not something you had to go find the random APK and hope that it worked on your phone well
Absolutely.
enough.
Exactly.
That was annoying.
Well, even then, if you were an iPhone user, you were just out of luck.
Yeah.
And I think that's... I still believe that iPhone holds a significant market share in mobile devices.
I think it's, the biggest by far.
It does.
Yep. So I definitely do
Gross.
agree. I agree with Pokemon Live existing and the concept of Live, but I think this is a really good client.
Implementation.
The client needs some work, and it's shockingly simple work that I think it needs. And the fact that it hasn't happened scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Though maybe by the time it leaves beta on June 5th, maybe they'll clean it up to the point where Scoop Up networks.
Exactly.
No.
Maybe.
That's too much work.
To be fair, I am waiting for Pokemon to announce that Expanded no longer goes all the way to Black and White, but goes back to Sun and Moon.
That's too much.
Rotating Expanded would be an interesting move.
Please rotate Expanded. For the love of God.
I mean, either that or they just create a slightly less expanded.
That is exactly what I'm explaining.
No, but I'm saying you keep Expanded as everything Black and White forward.
That's
but
so complicated.
You add another one that's all right, now it's just XY forward. Or XY to this point.
That's so complicated.
I'm thinking Magic has Modern and Legacy and all these various different metas. That
I don't think
we're getting into the real opinion section of the news here.
Yeah, I really don't think that Pokemon can handle such a thing. They can barely handle Standard.
And I can't handle a potato.
Wow.
Wow.
Thanks, Clod.
Thanks, Clod. I will be sure to never send you a potato.
Oh, I would eat it.
Only squash. Only squash. Though that taco place we went to was pretty good. So.
Oh yeah, it was really good.
That was actually really good.
Anyways,
you missed out, Seth.
Oh,
we had tacos. If you come to Texas, well, we can get tacos.
Yeah.
Yeehaw and all that.
Next time I'm in San Antonio, which probably will actually be not infrequent. All right, so we're going to do a Puckle's Pokey prediction. It's a TCG episode, so looking to the future. If Champions Festival sees widespread play because of the next set in Gardevoir, will Live make it craftable or available in some way? Or could you guess how high the SV sales numbers will be next week? I do not think that it will be craftable. I don't think it's good. I think Pokemon is stubborn, and it is also like one card in one deck. And I still think that after Paldea Evolved comes out, multiple decks will be viable. The
thing is, the Champions Festival gets a lot better as a card when the next set comes out. It's really that's pushing a lot of the popularity is anticipation for things in the next set. I don't think it'll be craftable in Live. That I guarantee. I don't think it will be made more available. I don't even think they'll make an equivalent stadium or anything like that. I just think they'll kind of let it be, and if you have the money to buy one or two of them that Gardevoir wants, then you just can, and that's all they'll do, other than I've seen some talk of, I don't think this will happen, but they may ban it in like Standard. That may be the only card banned in Standard is Champions Festival because it's causing such a weird ripple. So yeah, I would see that as more likely.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. If they banned, they banned cards in Standard before.
Yeah, but it's very infrequent. Very.
I think the last time I can think of it is Lysander's trump card.
Honestly, yeah, there might have been something, but yeah, that's the only one I can immediately recall.
Yeah, I think Lysander's trump card they 100% banned. I don't know. Maybe they'll do it if it becomes that unfair. They've been really good about prices lately.
Yeah.
Like secondhand card. Yeah, they've been actually really good about it. I mean, we just got, as of recording today, we just got the Palkia V-Star deck, which is kind of insane to think about.
It looks really good.
Yeah, which is kind of insane to think about. That they're just like, a year after the card came out, they're just like, here's the deck that's like meta available.
So,
yeah, go ahead, Claude.
No, this is like slightly off topic, but I've watched like a series on YouTube where someone like basically goes from a budget like starter base deck of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think 3 copies of that, and then just
Z or whatever his name
that's
is.
exactly what I'm talking about. Where he just goes through like playing the game properly, buys just packs and whatnot, and then trades. Doesn't buy anything online, and he went from just 3 starter decks into playing at like the European Championships and like making day 2.
Yeah,
I believe
it
really
trades
well.
and packs. And, like I thought that was such a cool series.
I don't think this
and I think
as
you
applicable.
can easily do something like that with Pokemon, like super easy.
I don't want to claim that you can, only because Pokemon's meta shifts a lot more than Yu-Gi-Oh's.
Yeah.
I think in Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think Mew, and I think no.
I think Mew, and Mew's also not good, but that's a completely different story that's a completely different fight that we can have later. Okay. I don't think that Mew is as good as you want to believe it is.
No, I don't think it is either. I'm just saying you could do it though with a deck like Mew.
You could. I do agree with that. I just don't believe like Mew is a special beast. Because if you look at something like Palkia was good because of cards all the way from D block to F block. And because of rotation, we lost a lot of those D block cards that are no longer good. I mean, like, a very good example of this is just Capacious Bucket. Losing Bucket is a killer to Palkia, in my opinion. And, I mean, I think we'll get some kind of recompense in Paldea Evolved when we get Qian Pao. But it's not going to be as simple.
Oh, I understand.
As it was.
Like the next battle deck that was revealed is supposed to be Qian Pao, so like you could easily do it.
Absolutely,
like that.
Absolutely. I do not disagree with you. I believe Qian Pao is a very good card, and we'll see some play alongside Palkia. I'm sure you can find a fun deck with that, but it's not like Palkia isn't as good right now. It might be good once we get Qian Pao. I think time has yet to tell, though. I would love for, like, I want what you said, Claude. Like, I would love for Pokemon to exist where you could buy 2 or 3 of a V battle deck and be able to just do super well. Because I think accessibility is a problem.
Well, the whole point of the series was that he starts out with, nothing. And then, through buying packs and trading with players, he's able to make a competitive, like, truly, truly competitive deck over time. And I just thought it was a fun concept that I'd love to see done with Pokemon.
I want Pokemon to be that accessible. I think it's dumb that it can't happen right now. So, like, if it can happen, I'd feel very, 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 very good.
Well, at least we're not in a situation where adults can't buy Pokemon cards like some other places.
Dude,
that's a good thing.
Right?
Let's not even touch that.
All right.
I am excited to see how quickly Paldea Evolved sells out.
I don't think it's gonna sell out as badly as it did in Japan.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that's only
But
because I think they've ramped up production of Pokemon cards so crazy in the US. I don't think Japan had the same swarm during COVID hit it as the US did.
I don't know about that one. I just don't know. So it could be, could not be.
From my understanding. But I think the US...
That's fair.
You don't hear stories of, like, Japanese players or Japanese collectors literally sticking trackers on trucks that are delivering product.
Yeah, no.
You only hear about that in the US. So I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, it might be a Japanese problem.
How many hundreds of dollars is Full Art Iono going to go for?
In the US?
Yeah.
100. Exactly.
100?
Yes.
No. So if we look at now that Miriam is 60 something.
Yes.
And that's after the hype.
Yep.
And Iono being a playable card.
Yes.
A 4 of in a lot of decks.
I don't see a lot of 4s. I see a lot of 3s and 2s. I haven't seen a lot of 4s recently.
Oh, I'm building Arceus decks, that's why.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
you're a bad player. That's why.
The stuff that I've looked at is closer to, like, I've seen a lot of 2s, I've seen a lot of 3s. I have not seen a lot of 4s. Granted, I'm looking at one now and there's a 4.
I'm excited, though. It'll be a lot.
So, a very viable card that's only going to be viable for the entirety of its thing, I think you're going to easily double that, if not triple it. Like, what's the current most expensive card right now?
Well, in Japan, it's Iono.
No, I meant, like, in the US, like, over the past, like, in Standard.
It's Miriam.
No, I think, in Standard, I think it's, what,
Champions
Lugia?
Festival.
Yeah, if you think of Festival.
Besides that, but, like, I'm like, is it, like, one of the Altart Lugias, or is it Giratina?
Altart Lugia.
I have no idea.
Altart Lugia, I think right now, is probably
of what I was prepared for.
Yeah, I don't know what the price of Altart Lugia is because Lugia bad. But yeah, it's
okay.
like,
but I'm thinking it could easily hit 200. I don't think it'll go above 200, but I think it will stay around 200.
I agree. Well, the problem with Iono, and which is hard to predict the price. Like, are we talking full art Iono, or are we talking like illustration or art?
Illustration art is the only one.
Oh no! Oh yeah, that'll be even worse.
Because I think the full art prices have stayed pretty reasonable, all things considered, because the pull rates are so good, in the US, that I'm not really too concerned about it being like too crazy high.
Yeah, I fully expect, like, full art Iono to be around 50, and then the, what's it called? Secret rare to be, like, 200 plus.
Yeah.
I could see the secret rare being pricey, only because it's the secret rare.
Alright, so
Altart Lugia V is
by the way, is
170.
Yeah, 170. So I would say it's going to be higher than that, and it would be closer to, like, 200.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, only because the rarities...
I don't know if I...
Yeah, just because the pull rates have been so good.
Even if the pull rates are better, it's good. It's because of how much you need the card, and there's some people that want to bling out their deck. So it's not like something like Lugia where you only need like 2 or 3.
Who would do that?
Variants of it. You would need up to 4, depending on your deck.
I can't wait to riffle shuffle for Iono.
And a couple champion festival as well. Why not? Just
why not?
Because
just to like really ruin somebody's day.
Guy flips over a Ralts across the table. You riffle shuffle him after every search.
Oh my! You're not allowed to do that. Well, you shouldn't do that. to like not be a complete d-bag, but
You're absolutely allowed to, though.
you are technically allowed to, Seth, and I don't agree with you.
If you're gonna play the cards, you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, okay, that's where we're gonna leave it. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna kick things over to Puckle's Poke Quiz. We're gonna quiz everybody on their innate Pokemon knowledge.
Oh hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
And welcome to Trivia. Thank you for that introduction. Our first question this week is going to come to you from J. Burkett 2. What dual typing has the most resistances/immunities?
Dual typing has the
Yes.
most? Okay.
Didn't we do this one recently?
I don't know.
Oh, I heard this somewhere else. Okay, never mind. I got it.
Do you got
It's
it?
Steel Electric.
Yeah, Magnezone and that whole thing.
Is that
Yeah,
your
'cause
final
the
answer?
resistances don't overlap for electric and that. It's only compounding on the ground.
It compounds
Yep.
on ground.
It's only neutral to water.
Water is neutral. I know fire, ground, fighting are still super effective.
So that brings it to like 12 resistances, 1 immunity. Fairy neutralizes a lot of them. So yeah, I think Steel Electric is correct.
Steel Electric is your final answer?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, yeah.
That is correct. With 11 resistances and 1 immunity, Steel Electric is the top choice.
I don't know where I heard that recently, but in the past week, I heard something like, oh, cool, that's good, important. That's important and useful to know.
Huh. Well, that works. I'm glad you heard it.
Okay, I'm about to ramp up the difficulty on you guys.
Oh, no.
Oh, good.
This is from Mull Coffee. Out of all 9 starter trios, only 1 line can learn the move Confusion. Who's that Pokemon?
Oh.
Is it not Fennekin?
I would imagine it's that. That would make the most sense.
All right, Confusion. Let me go through the mind.
Yeah.
It's not Charmander. It's not Squirtle. It's not Bulbasaur.
No, nothing from
It's
Gen
not
2 because they all suck.
It's not Cyndaquil. It's not those.
Nothing Gen 3.
I don't believe it's any of those.
Nope, nothing 4.
I don't believe it's 4.
5, no. 6 is
It could be Fennekin.
7.
Something tells me Poplio could learn it.
That would make sense,
And then...
but I don't think so. I'm wrong. 8,
No, not 8.
no, none of them. 9, most recent, no.
So it's one of 2 answers in my opinion.
I think the Fennekin line makes a lot more sense, but I could see it being Poplio.
Because Thatch said it was hard, it's making me think it's not that line.
I know that Psychic was a really common move on Poplio's final for a long time.
Primarina?
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of it. So it's got the propensity for psychic moves, so it makes sense. Unless we're just way overthinking this and it's just straight up Fennekin line. I think they focus more on fire than anything.
But is it anywhere in the line or just the...
Anywhere in the line. Anywhere in the line.
Gosh, now it makes me feel like there's something I'm missing somewhere. Because I feel like that'd be a very Braxton move to learn.
Yeah. But they kind of focused on like the mystical fire bit. Like they went really deep into the fire. They didn't have a lot in the way of psychic moves as far as I recall. Like psychic was their option.
Then if it's not that, then I honestly then have no idea.
Poplio line, I think. I think that's honestly I'm feeling more that than the other.
What was the middle form?
Midlio.
Brion.
Thank you.
Brion. Okay.
Sounds like confusion.
Yep. I think we have
See?
to go with that. Granted, even that I don't know if it learns it.
He said anywhere in the line, so
Yeah, but now I'm worried it's gonna be something dumb like Rowlet.
No, we're gonna be dumb with it. I vote Poplio.
Okay, let's
Done.
go for it.
Boom, lock in. Click.
Poplio
Just tell me I'm wrong.
is unfortunately incorrect.
Yeah.
The answer is going to shock you.
What?
And prepared. Be prepared.
Rowlet.
Squirtle.
What?
Squirtle learns it only in Generation 2 as a egg move via breeding.
What?
Yup.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm
All
not
right.
kidding you, sir.
Okay, so at least we weren't like close.
You got the
that makes
type
me feel
right.
a little better.
You got the type right, if that makes
Hey,
sense.
there we did.
I'm not going to give you a third of a point for that, but I will
Dang it.
give you a pat on the back.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, your next question is your Pokedex entry question. As always, it is going to be from the Fable Flygon. Its Pokemon Sword entry reads, this Pokemon's tiny wings have some scientists saying that this Pokemon used to fly through the sky in ancient times. Who's that Pokemon?
Sigilyph.
No.
This Pokemon's tiny wings have some scientists saying that this Pokemon used to fly through the sky in ancient times.
Okay, what is tiny wing?
Archeops? Arkin?
Yeah, but they fly now.
They fly now, yeah. And
They used to fly, which means it's not
it doesn't
flying
really...
type.
Even then, it doesn't fly very well. It glides because it's, Archaeopteryx. Tiny wings, fly in ancient times. Dunsparce,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep, I'm all in on Dunsparce.
Is that in Sword and Shield?
Yeah.
I hate that I have to ask this question.
Wait.
Stupid Dexit.
Oh, gosh. Who cares?
Dunsparce, lock in. Tell me I'm wrong, Regis.
Dunsparce is correct.
Heck yeah!
Dunsparce is correct. The entry afterwards was going to be from Pokemon Crystal, where it says it hides deep in caves where no light ever reaches it, and
Yep,
remains
I would've
virtually
gotten it
motionless there.
Yep.
Dunsparce
Yeah.
is correct, though. You
I
guys
was
are
thinking of
3
things
for
with
3.
tiny wings, and it was...
You guys are 3 for 3, so I believe your next question is going to be worth up to 2 points. This is your multiple answer question. It's going to come to you from the Purple Knight. There are 3 answers here. You only need 2 of them. If you get all 3, pat yourself on the back. 1 point per answer. There are 3 evolutionary lines from the OG Sinnoh that are not in Pokemon Legends Arceus. What are they?
There are 3 lines that are not in the decks.
Yes, from OG Sinnoh, like the Sinnoh decks.
Oh, yep, OG Sinnoh. Was Kricketot and Kricketune there? Yes, they were.
Yeah, they were. I remember seeing the red-eyed evil Kricketoons yelling at me.
Now I gotta think.
Right? Oh my word. My brain is just blanking on my playthrough of Legends Arceus.
I'm not going through all Legends Arceus. I'm going through, like, Sinnoh and seeing what I remember. What I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Is it one of those weird later ones? Where, like, the Gen 4 evolution people?
That's my immediate guess. But, we very easily could be wrong about
None of the
any and all
legends, because they don't have evolution. It's not them.
that. Okay. Oh,
Rotom's in there.
all right. Starters. Were all the starters in the game?
Yeah, they were. I remember catching them.
You do have 3 strikes, then you're out. You can start guessing.
Okay.
You also have your
We
hint.
could.
Don't forget your hint.
Yes.
You've already burned a question. You already burned a
we already have.
Um.
I'm down for using the hint, because we've already...
Okay, so I
Already
do
at that
have.
point.
I think I have one of them.
Okay, what you got?
Wurmple.
What? No.
Yes. The Wurmple line wasn't in there, was it?
Wait, I'm getting confused. So this is... Forgive me. This is lines that were not in...
Legends
the question
Arceus,
again?
but were in the original.
Yes.
Oh,
But
they
they were in-
I'm thinking just Pokemon you could find versus
Okay.
specifically
So
Sinnoh Pokemon. Okay.
they were in Diamond Pearl, but did not transfer over to Legends Arceus.
Yes.
Correct? Got it. Okay, so it's definitely not Wurmple, because you give that to the guy at the front, and it evolves into Dustox wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Give me.
I
give
got
me a
it.
second.
I got it flipped in my head the other way of like, oh yeah, no.
All right, I will figure this out. I have to just go through the game in my mind, and I'm in certain parts.
So we're just trying to find what's missing from Legends Arceus.
You can catch those. Dang it.
We're so good at this.
I
game.
have...
Let's do a hint.
If you
because
have a
we're-
hint, I will give it to you.
floundering.
Fine.
None of these Pokemon are related to any Gen 4 Pokemon. One is from Generation 1. One line is from Generation 1. One line is from Generation 2. One line is from Generation 3. All of these are basic to Stage 1 lines.
Basic to Stage 1, 1, 2, and 3.
One of them is known for learning Waterfall. One of them is known for learning Foresight.
Goldeen and Seeking?
And one of them is known for learning, I don't know, is very hard to find in Gen 3.
The Gen 2, the Foresight one implies Xatu.
Yep.
So which ones are you locking in?
Is it not Goldeen for Waterfall?
Yeah,
Goldeen
and
is
Xatu.
correct. That gives you 1 point. Xatu is incorrect.
Oh, no. Oh, wait, Furret. It was Furret and Sentret in there? They used
No,
Foresight
they weren't in the
right?
original. They're not in the game.
Oh, dang it.
I don't think they were in Gen 4's main decks either.
Dang it.
I would have remembered.
Foresight. Foresight. What?
Is that like a fighting type? Because they have Foresight. Was Meditite and Medicham in the game?
I don't know. Maybe. Because the physical special split happened and that made them good.
I don't remember either of them in Legends Arceus off the top of my head, but I could be
remember,
very wrong.
it's the other way around. They were in Legends Arceus, but they weren't.
No.
No,
not
dang it! I did it again. Yeah. I think that's right. I think that's okay. Medicham and whatever.
The other one that comes to my mind was Hoot and Noctowl in.
Yeah.
Which one are we locking in?
I don't remember
both
Hoot
of them?
or Noctowl.
Hoot and Noctowl, yeah.
Hoot and Noctowl is correct. That gives you your second point. The third one's just bonus points.
Just bonus points.
Is that not just Medicham?
It is not Medicham.
Yeah, it could be.
No.
Is it Swablu and Altaria?
No, it is Feebas and Melodic. I think Medicham.
Wow.
I think Medicham is correct though. I don't think Medicham is available in Legends Arceus, if I recall. I might be wrong.
Jeopardy music. We're looking it up, folks.
We are looking it up. Because I don't think that you can't catch a Medicham, right? Like, there's no way you can collect Medicham.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I don't think you can get Medicham.
I don't think you can. I think that's right.
And Medicham was available in both, right? Like,
Diamond Pearl, Route 17, blah, 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 blah.
The gym leader has
Legends
it.
Arceus unobtainable.
yeah. This question is incomplete, but
We found an extra.
I still give you the points.
Yeah.
All right. Our next question, you guys got 2 for 2 there. You are 5 for 4. You can go up to 6 for 8 here, or 6 for 5.
Whatever, how numbers work.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
This one is going to be from Rouge. Who's Pokemon? Who's that Pokemon with the highest ever recorded base special defense or special attack amongst fire types?
Highest special attack of fire types.
Fire types.
Yep.
So my mind immediately goes to Reshiram, just because Reshiram.
That's a good baseline. I think that's like the 150 range. Blacephalon.
Mega Camerupt could have it too.
Mega Camerupt is an option. It's not Groudon. It's not Groudon.
No, it's not Groudon. I mean, Primal.
No, it's physical, not special. It gets a boost, yeah, but it's like to 100. What's Blacephalon? 151?
I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I remember what it is now. Zard Y.
Zard
I think
Y?
Zard Y is like 159.
That makes sense. Okay, is that higher than
that's the highest I can
Blacephalon?
think of.
Is that a prime number? I think Blaze is
Blacephalon, I think
151.
it's 151. Right?
Yeah.
That's prime.
I think so, and 159 is Zard Y.
I'm pretty sure Zard Y is 159 or 160. I remember it being some stupidly high number.
Yeah.
Granted, I could also be wrong.
And then boosted by Drought too.
Yeah.
That would mean that it basically, because Megas are like a 100 stat boost, it's dumping like 50 or 60 points from its special attack into...
Yep.
What is Zard's special attack? 110?
Charizard I thought was around 109-ish? Or 110?
So it would dump 50. Yeah, 109 dumps 50, 159.
Dumps 50 there. Because I think the speed stays the same at 100.
Yeah, it's the same for both of them.
And, HP stays the same. And I think it actually just adds that and maybe some special defense or something.
Yeah, one of them adds physical, one of them adds special, and X is physical. But yeah, I think that's about right. 159, I can't think of any other big evil fire types off the top of my head. Yeah.
Only
I'm
other
good
one I
with
think
Mega
would
Zard Y.
possibly be like maybe Volcanion, but
No, 130.
okay, never mind. And I know Chandelure is 145, so if we've already established Reshiram is the base at 150, and
Iron Moth is
Blacephalon
140, Volcarona is 135.
I can't think of anything higher than Zard Y, which I'm pretty sure is 159.
Yep, I agree with you. That's what they have to do with Megas, is make the base stats high, because you can't augment with items. So yeah, Zard Y. Tell me, Regis.
Zard Y is correct. With a base stat of 159.
What?
Yeah, right on the dot. Next up is Blacephalon with 151, followed by a tie between Primal Groudon and Reshiram with 150.
What?
Yeah.
Primal Groudon's 150, yeah.
What?
Yep.
You've never seen the overheat sets in the sun?
I've seen them, but I thought it was just because I have Fire-type Stab and Sun now.
Nope.
Wow, okay.
Also just a base 150, yeah, that's pretty good.
Mega Camera up at 145 and Chandelure at 145. Clod knows more than you. He is the Ron
I know the
Swanson.
numbers.
He is
I know the
Ron
numbers
Swanson.
very well.
So that gives you guys 6 points apiece today. So
Hey, does that change up the standings?
boy, does it, Claude. It does change up the standings, as it always does.
What?
Shocker, I know. In first place, we've got Whimsicott with 24 points. In second, we've got Linian with 22. In third, we've got Claude with 21.
Whoa.
In fourth, we've got Seth Vilo with 20. In fifth, we've got Shark with 19. In sixth, Sublime with 17. In seventh, Mark with 15. Eighth, Jushiro with 13. Basket is in ninth, tied with our Sigma with 12. And in 11th, we've got Shamu with 5. Everybody else is in their race to 40. So whoever gets there first wins some bragging rights. So on that note, we are going to kick it on over today, guys, to our topic. We have another review. This one is going to be from Spartan THX 117. 5 stars, longtime listener. The first time I've ever written a review for a podcast. I first started listening to your podcast when driving to meet my girlfriend on the weekends, when neither of us had to work. Since then, we've moved in together and become engaged. The both of us have been playing Pokemon since we were kids, and we have both listened to your podcast when traveling or working around the house together. We may not score too well on the quiz part, but we always enjoy the topics and conversation between the host and guest. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, thank you for that, and congrats on the engagement. If you would like your review read on the show, leave one, and it might be read. Until then, guys, we're going to kick it on over to the topic. Welcome to the topic. Our topic this week is TCG and how it's going. But first, Seth wants to give something that's irrelevant. Go.
Yep. Yeah, since this is our competitive episode and we usually give a little tiny blurb for what's going on in the other side of it that isn't the topic that month. Just a couple quick things that happened in the last month since our last show where we actually focused on VG, and just Smogon tiering because, we're still in the same, what is it called now? What is the rule set for VGC, actual VGC? What is it called? Season?
I don't know. They changed it now.
Rules?
Regulation C.
Regulation.
Something.
Yeah. That hasn't changed, but some of the Smogon stuff has. So here, I'll run through it really fast so that way we can just dedicate the rest to everything going on. In PU, which now has a tier, Vivian was banned. Hooray.
Good. Thank God. The monster.
In NU, Florges was banned.
Thank God,
So
the
no
monster.
Oh,
more Florges down there.
no, it wasn't nearly that good.
The suspect test for Scizor wrapped up in UU, and it failed to reach the required percentage, so it is still legal in UU. RU had a council vote to see about Hawlucha and Poltegeist, and both of them were banned. That was as of a couple days ago, actually. So RU had movement, UU didn't have movement, NU had one thing, PU had.
OU had a lot of movement, because I know Greninja fell down to...
Oh, and OU banned Shedtail. That was big.
Oh, I did see that. I actually enjoyed that, though, to be fair. I think Shedtail is dumb.
Yeah.
The big things, though, were the fact that Cyclizar looks really good now in UU, just as a mon itself, because basically
That's
it's
fair.
Tornadus T.
Yep.
It fills that role of, hazard removal, knockoff, regenerator, U-turn.
I've been tinkering with it just because it's fun and it's much cooler than Great Tusk. Not better, but cooler, because I don't want to be like those people.
It fits in UU now, and Greninja in UU I think is going to thrive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was one of the other things, is Greninja dropped to that level. Some of the newer mons that we've been getting, like slow drip over the last couple of months, have been going to their rightful places. And I think Decidueye dropped too, something like that. So hooray, they're getting to the tiers they belong in. So that's the VG update, really. Just real quick, real sweet, and we'll talk more about it next month.
Let's talk about TCG, which we're all here for.
Woo! TCG!
Woo. We haven't had like anything happen since EUIC yet. I believe actually this weekend while we're recording is when Portland Regionals is taking place.
That is correct.
I think there's 5 regionals this weekend across the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. This is a busy weekend.
Yeah, this is a busy weekend. We're going to get a lot of results.
And it's like the second big thing since Scarlet Violet became legal.
EUIC was very surprising in that we got like a really rogue deck that won. Arceus Duraludon, but with like a splash of Vulpix.
Yeah, and then that caused a whole lot of madness.
No, if you didn't have the Vulpix is what won it. It wasn't the it wasn't Arctura. Like Arctura is a good base, but like you needed the Vulpix or you wouldn't have done as well as you did.
Yep.
Vulpix, for those of you who are Vulpix V Star is a card that prevents its being attacked by Pokemon with abilities, which if you're playing Gardevoir, which is a really big archetype right now,
every one of its attackers has an ability.
Yeah, every attacker that's not named Ralts has an ability.
Same with Goodra, though. The Goodra list can't touch it at all.
I faced that when we were at Arlington. That was horrible, especially because not only does that attack make it immune to things with abilities, the first part of that attack is also that it isn't affected by any effects on your active Pokemon. So when I was rolling Ironing, I did not keep myself 80 HP healthier like Rolling Iron does. Snow Mirage, Vulpix's attack goes right through it and doesn't care, and 2-hit KOs my Goodra anyway. So it was an auto loss and awful.
Yep. Vulpix is like a pretty decent card. So definitely watch out for that. I mean, that deck is really cool. It's a very good meta call. I see a lot of people playing it now, but I'm like, okay, but now that it exists, like it's not best deck in format or anything. It's just
Gardevoir started splashing in Escape Rope and Boss to be able to get around it. Like it adapted, and next set it won't care because its primary attacker is a balloon, so they don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I think that this is this meta right now is very healthy. It's very, very diverse currently until Paldea Evolve comes out, which is kind of a nice change of pace from where we were it's just like Lugia. Lugia is still a decent deck. It's just like fun to play now. It's not overpowering. It's just fun to play. It's just like a good deck that's fun.
And it's good to eat.
I mean, it's playing like... I really liked the lists that ended up topping in EUIC where they splashed into Duraludon Single Strike. I thought that was very clever.
Those are fun, yeah.
I thought that was very clever. The one that I've seen floating around nowadays, which I kind of like better, because Duraludon Single Strike is really good if you get caught in the Lugia mirror, which I don't think you're as likely to get caught in nowadays.
No.
The one that I really... The deck list that I really like plays Urshifu Single Strike VMAX.
Okay. Yeah. I think you were talking to me about that.
You play that instead of... So, like, you play a 1-1 line of that instead of a 1-1 line of Duraludon. Because if you play the 1-1 line of Urshifu VMAX, you can Oko a Duraludon VMAX.
Oh, yeah, because it goes through everything, right?
It goes... Yeah, because it goes through. And on top of that, you could also... you play some Impact Energy, you play some Single Strike Energy. You can make it work out with everything else. Lugia has essentially become just like a Single Strike deck.
Yep, pretty much.
I'm sure with the next rotation or the next set, it'll become a little bit better because we finally get some special energy out of that.
Yeah, that's what's really making it have to go Single Strike, is because that's the good energy right now.
That's the good energy. Yeah, it's better than Fusion Strike, and it's better than whatever Rapid Strike nonsense there is.
I saw like early into rotation, I saw Lugia, some people on Twitter just really trying to make a Fusion Strike Lugia work, and it kind of did. Like, if you can get a Meloetta to immediately do 280 out of nowhere, like, it can kind of work.
But, like, that's it.
The thing is, the problem with Lugia, with Fusion Strike, I'll say this is like a Lugia player in general. Like, as somebody who's played a lot of Lugia.
Boo!
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't care. If I cared, I wouldn't have this podcast. But I would say that the issue with doing that is that there's always an energy prize. Like, I don't care what it is. There's always an energy.
Always. When you need the number of them.
The number of times that I've played I played like Lugia pre-rotation, and that there is a powerful prized is almost every game. I swear to God, almost every game there's a powerful energy prize, and you're like, man, I'd really love to do 300 damage this match.
Nope.
Oh, I bet you would, kiddo.
And it's just like, I bet you would, and then you just can't because the powerful's prized, and it's always a bummer. It's a big bummer.
Yep. Prizing. Woo.
Same thing happens with the Fusion Strike energies. Like, I don't think the Fusion Strike, I'm not going to say it's not fun to play. I'm just going to say it's not as consistent to play as the Single Strike. Single Strike also has the advantage compared to the other quote unquote strike energies.
Ooh, say it. I think I know what you're going to say.
You get energy recovery. Like, you can recycle
there it is.
You can recycle it, which is what Lugia kind of wanted forever.
Yep.
A special charge, which was a Sun and Moon card that allowed you to recycle your energy into your deck.
Specifically special. Yeah.
Yeah, existed in rotation when Lugia existed. I think Lugia would have been even worse of a powerhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could play a much smaller energy count, because typically with Lugia, you were playing 15, 16 energy maybe. Even now with Urn of Vitality, which allows you to take 2 single strike energies, which could either be a single strike energy itself or an impact energy, and shuffle it into your deck. Urn of Vitality lets you do 2 of those energies. You're still playing like 13 energy. I think that being able to, like, if you had special charge, you would probably be able to get away with significantly less, like maybe even like 12 or 10. And which is kind of insane to think about, like giving Lugia that much space to play with, like that just sounds gross. Like, could you imagine like a world where somebody's like, I could play 2 Burnett for whatever reason I wanted to?
Yep.
And you're just like, but why? Why would you do that? They're like, I have the deck space.
Oh, yuck, deck space.
It would be gross. It would be absolutely gross. But yeah, Lugia has definitely fallen. Like, I'm not going to say, like, I think it's like, I'm not going to say it's like a tier 1 deck or a tier 0 deck. I'll say it's like a tier like 1.5 deck right now.
Yeah, I would put it there.
I think at the current meta, it is 2.
Yeah, maybe. Because it is very coin flippy now.
Yeah, it's very coin flippy. I will call it a tier 1. I will disagree with Clod a little bit.
Well, I'm saying right now in Scarlet and Violet base set, it is about a 2.
Fair enough.
I think it will get better in Paldea Involved and become 1.5, but I don't think it's good enough at the moment.
I think it's 1.5 currently.
That's fair.
Then my argument is going to just be, where are the results?
It got 2 of them got top 8 at EUIC. Boom. Like, I don't know what you want from me. It's more than Mew.
It is refreshing, though, that just looking at tournament things, both online and in-person things, that it's not 7 of the top 8 or 5 or 6 of the top 8. It's so nice to see, like, in those top 8s, there's like 7 different decks.
We have had 2 big tournaments so far. Like,
yeah.
And I say that being EUIC and the London Cup. The London Cup had no Lugia in the top 8, and that's all we pretty much know about it.
Even then, like, yeah, I mean, that's true. I agree with you. I don't think that Lugia is, like, the best deck in format.
And then Lugia, 2 people made top 8, but then they just fell off. And outside of that, there were not a terrible lot of high-placing Lugias.
No, I do agree with you there. I just think that the meta is just so spread out.
It's lovely.
I think there are so many decks that can perform well and are very equally matched. Like, I think Gardevoir is positioned very well. I think Gudra is... I didn't want to play it because I played a lot of it at Fort Wayne, and I didn't want to play it again. But it is still very good. So Gudra is very good, where it can, just stall you out and be a very fat deck.
I've been surprised by how well it's been doing post-rotation, because you and I were both kind of thinking, it loses net, it loses this, that, the other, and we just thought capture energy gone. I
didn't want it to be good, mostly because I didn't want to play it again.
Yeah, but that's because all the decks are slower, and that's why it's still good. It's everything slowed down drastically.
No, I agree with you. Most decks are very slow. The exception being Lugia, but Lugia is inconsistent, so it's very hard to pop off as often.
I would even say Lugia is slow, honestly, because it requires so much. But compared to something like a Miraidon, which can get its full bench out from 1 card, and Lost Box, which can hit 10 very easily turn 2.
Well, 7 turn 2 is still, it's still definitely doable for Lost Box. 10 turn 2 is much, much too difficult.
No, you are wrong.
I'm going to slow us down very quickly because we just threw out a lot of words.
Yes, we did. Yes, thank you.
I want to go back to Miraidon before we move on to Lost Box, because I don't disagree that Lost Box is good.
Because that was the hype coming into this.
Yeah, well, okay. So I remember you and I being at Fort Wayne and everybody freaking out about Miraidon and all the Regieleki prices skyrocketing.
Yep, they're still high.
I got 2 of them.
Yeah.
I have full playsets of both, and I had both of them before Miraidon came out because I was thinking about playing VGC. Miraidon EX is a new card, and what it does is it lets you grab 2 basic electric-type Pokemon from your deck and put them on the bench. And so it's very easy if you get a Miraidon turn 1 to fill up your bench. The problem with Miraidon, compared to a lot of other decks, a lot of the other decks are based on energy acceleration, and Miraidon is... It like has like a tier 1.52 energy acceleration mechanic, because energy acceleration is very important in Pokemon TCG. If you can't accelerate energy, you might as well not play, because like if you're just like attaching and passing, it's kind of boring, and that does happen in some games when you don't have perfect setups.
For energy acceleration to be good, you need 2 things. You need 1, a way to get your energy, and a way to accelerate more than 1 in a turn.
Yes. And so Miraidon does kind of have that in the electric generator card that it has, where you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and you take any electric energy and you attach it to any of your benched electric Pokemon. That's decent. You can get a lot of cards and a lot of hits off of that. The problem is, so there used to be a card like this back in the Sun and Moon format. I almost said Foon format for whatever reason, but the Sun and Moon format called Max Elixir, or X and Y. This is X and Y. Oh my gosh, not Sun and Moon.
Long time ago.
This is, yeah, Thatch played TCG a very long time ago, which lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, take a basic energy out of that, and attach it to one of your Pokemon, which I think is honestly better than Electric Generator. But
well, Electric Generator can hit 2, though, which is nice.
It can hit 2, but you have to be very lucky, I think, to hit 2. Because it's only the top 5 of your deck, and you get to pick, and if there's 2 electric, you can do it. So you either have to run a lot of electric energy, which I think Miraidon does, because it usually plays like 14.
13, 14, 15.
Yeah, so, somewhere around 13 to 15. And it does play a lot of electric energy. So it does do a decent job of making those hits. You usually hit 1 at most. Or not at most, but you usually hit 1 off electric generator. Sometimes you hit 2. I don't know what the statistics on that are. I'm sure somebody could do some math for me and like tell me. But it's you can go ahead and you can hit, you probably hit 1. And that's it's just not as fast. Like you look at Lugia, like when Lugia gets turned on, you're doing 4 a turn. And Miraidon's like, on a good day, I'm doing 3 a turn, which is enough to get an attack off.
Yes, which is all it needs.
I've been really liking the idea. I don't play it. A buddy of mine does, who I'm trying to get into the game. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Is his name also Ryan?
Yes, I've got a Ryan now. Ha! But yeah, he's a big Miraidon player. That's his gateway drug. We'll call it that.
To be fair, it is kind of fun to play, and it's kind of helmet.
It is. Yeah.
And by helmet, I mean it's very easy to play.
Very easy, and it makes you feel very powerful. That's what's so fun about it.
It's very easy to play, which I think if you're somebody who's not like super familiar with the TCG and looking to get into it, this is a very good way to get into it. And honestly, in like a month, there's going to be a tin with these Miraidon EXs in it. So like, just go get them. And right now, there's also some like...
When do we get the Ampharos?
The Ampharos came out today.
It just came out today.
It came out today?
Yeah.
Oh...
I saw it at my Target. I was so tempted. I'm like, I didn't want to spend $10 just for one of them.
I know what I'm getting with that friend of mine on Monday. We're gonna go find an Ampharos tin.
It's a box. It's a box. It's a deck. It's a deck.
Because I've been liking the Flaffy version.
The only problem is like
it doesn't have the good Flaffy in it though. It doesn't have the good Flaffy though.
No, but he's already got 4 of them.
Because I'm trying to figure out like, all right, what is worth it in this deck? And it's like, all right, there's Ampharos, and then it gives you 2 nest balls. And that's it.
Woo.
There's nothing good in there. Like, I'm going to get it because my wife is collecting the promos, and there's 2 promos in it. Because the Flaffy in it is technically a promo.
Oh.
See, I just want a single copy of Ampharos, and I'm like, I would rather not get the rest of this. And I'll eventually get it.
I don't know, I'm really bad. Okay, so when I played last time, before Seth dragged me back into the game a year ago, I was a cheap grad student, and I would just take whatever cards I had and do what I could with them. And now I am an adult with money, and this is so bad because I'm just like, well, if I have like 20 nest balls, that means I can make 5 decks with 4 nest balls.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And so I'm sitting here like, I'll just buy the deck and I'll just have, extra nest balls. It'll be fine.
Yep.
Or extra whatever else is in there, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to make a lot of decks. It's going to be fine.
But I'm glad you brought this up, though, because I personally think the best Miraidon build is the Flappy build. And I know most people don't think that.
I think it's a lot better now that we have the Ampharos.
I think Ampharos is better, but I think pre-Ampharos, like I like the Flappy build. It makes me super happy as a player, but I think that the Magnezone build is better.
So hear me out. If you ignore the one bad matchup that you have being Lost Box, because Lost Box is Lost Box and it sucks no matter what. Even, for regular Miraidon versus Lost Box, it's a tough matchup for Miraidon. It makes all of the other matchups much better simply because of Raichu, the ability to have, access to the stone, whether it's Forest Seal Stone or Sky Stone, and I think it has a better matchup overall versus everything else. You can actually one-shot Gardevoirs without needing a whole bunch. You can recur your energies a whole lot easier with Flaffy than you can with, Alekis.
No, I really like it, honestly. So you can kind of ditch Beach Court, which is a stadium that if you play it, your retreat cost is one less, and a lot of the Pokemon you play in Miraidon are one retreat.
One are free, yep.
Yeah, so if you play, if you don't play Mirage Gate, or not Mirage Gate, I'm skipping ahead. But if you don't play Beach Court, you can get away with the retreat, and with Flaffy, you can just kind of dump that energy onto another Pokemon on the bench very easily.
100%.
Which I don't disagree with. Like, you can just put the energy back on the Pokemon to be retreated.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of that. I don't know. Like, right now, the Ampharos might change things. I haven't looked too much into it.
It just adds one. It's a one-of inclusion into the deck, and it basically just gives you something to use your so your Flaffies aren't dead. Like, it basically turns one of them into, all right, cool. Now this is not a Lost Box target, and it can...
Here's the notable attack the Ampharos has. First of all, it's got 330 HP, which is huge. Second, it's got an attack. The first one sucks. I'm not going to mention it. The second one, Thunderstrike Tail. For Lightning Colorless, it does base 140 and says you may discard 2 energy from this Pokemon to have this attack do 100 more damage.
That's actually really reasonable. I might go buy 2 of these decks now, so one can go in the binder and one can go in a Miraidon deck.
It's currently selling at like $8 a card on TCG Player, so yeah, it might be worth it to just buy.
Well, it's going to go down. It's going to drop because it just came out today. It's going to drop.
Yeah,
it will.
I might literally just go buy 2 of these decks so I don't have to worry about getting it on TCG Player.
It's good. I'm excited.
I'll get 4 Nest Bowls, Seth. I'll get 4.
Yeah. You're getting close to my addiction level, my friend. Welcome.
This is one of the 2 decks that I have built right now.
And Seth, I'm right with you.
I know you are.
We both have the same problem because, like, we went to Fort Wayne and I don't know, like at Fort Wayne, I felt like we were equals finally. I felt like we were like that was the day I was just like when I went to Arlington, like I was still the apprentice. And then I came to Fort Wayne and I'm like, we are equals. We've got
What did you come in? What was your placing? Like 303rd, right?
Yeah, I was like 303. I came in a little bit higher than you, but
I was 376-ish. So the student has surpassed the master?
Yeah. And you know what's worse is like I could have taken the last match and just been like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and just taken the tie. And I would have probably gotten points, which upsets me more than anything in the world right now.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. I want to really get us off the Miraidon train right now, though.
Yeah. Let's hit the things. Like, what are some of the other big ones? You mentioned Mirage Gate just a second ago.
Yeah, Mirage Gate and Lost Box, which not Seth and I, but Clod and I were having a discussion about earlier today. During the show, because I get to have TCG opinions because I'm actually in the meta.
So am I.
Yeah, no, I think you are too, Clod. I'm not discounting that. I apologize.
We're a pretty dang good 3. We're a dang good 3 for this, I think.
The 3 of us are all very involved in the meta.
Yeah.
Granted, I do play a lot of, PTCG online because I do enjoy it despite all of its problems and whatnot. And I follow way too many people and read too many things.
Same.
Very early on, I thought that Lost Box, Sky Seal Stone was like the best way to go. And I think Claude agreed with me and maybe still agrees with that opinion.
No, I disagree now, but before EUIC, I thought that was the best idea.
So we're on the same page. Because like I played that during a league challenge. I'm so pissed because I played that during league challenge. I played like a special variant of it. And I was actually like on the way to the league challenge. I was listening to a video by Omnipoke where they like rank that as their top choice. And my list was almost exactly the same as theirs, except they dumped a Mirage Gate for a mana fee. And before that video, I was thinking about ditching a Mirage Gate for a mana fee. And then I didn't. Because I'm like, no. I can't just like take straight. I can't just accidentally have the same list as Omnipoke.
It's just accidentally.
I got into a game and then I got tilted because I lost a game because I didn't have that second mana fee. I'm so upset. I'm so upset that I didn't put it in there. Because if I would have had it, I would have won. I would have won the game. And I would have been like 3-0 and I probably would have gotten points. Instead, I lost that game and then lost a Dialga pile.
Dialga pile.
So it was very frustrating. Yeah, I used to think that was the best deck. I honestly think Forest Steelstone is the better play. I don't know that it's like, again, I don't know that there's a best deck in format right now.
So, and this is where I would just like, at the current moment, I think the best Lost Box variant going into this weekend is Galarian Moltres.
Okay. We're each on a different one, so I'm interested to hear it.
The specific one I'm thinking of is there's one, like, they run Galarian Moltres and then they also run Kyogre.
Yep.
And the reason for this is that Kyogre is the strongest card in the game right now. It can technically hit 500 in one attack. On two Pokemon. Like, so 250, 250.
If you do it right, yeah.
If you do it right, that is enough to, like, and granted, I played Kyogre Lost Box all last format.
I'm going to say you're biased. I'm
a little biased on that, but, like, I think the fact that Gardevoir is doing so well, and people really like Gardevoir and want to make Gardevoir good, makes Moltres incredible.
That is true.
As a single prize attacker, I think it's better than Drapion.
I'm gonna not disagree with you on the Moltres. I don't know if I agree. Like, the problem with Lost Box is that it's box, right? It's the box part.
Yes.
Yep.
Everything is good in Lost Box, and so like if I were to predict a Lost Box that was going to be successful, I would agree that the Gardevoir would be there. I don't know that I would agree that the Kyogre would be there.
So hear me out. If you're playing Drapion, it's only ever good versus Mew. If you're not playing Mew, even versus Gardevoir, it's less good because it requires 2 of your Mirage Gates to go on top of it.
Yeah.
For it to attack and kill one thing before it gets KO'd, and then it's basically useless.
Yes.
Yep.
Whereas, even if you're not playing a Psychic type, Moltres Galar can come in at the very end, and with its attack, which is 20 plus 50 for each prize your opponent's taken, knock out something massive.
Yeah, it's very fair. I've seen that have a lot of success.
Like I said, I don't disagree that like Moltres is a possibility. My disagreement is Kyogre. I like Kyogre. I just think
there are some builds that run both, and I just like running both because I think it helps you in a lot of matchups.
I'm not saying it's not a good deck. It might like do well regardless. Like doing well, like in making day 2, I think is, and I don't mean to depress Seth because we've had a lot of conversations about this, but I like making day 2. I think as long as you're playing like a tier 3 deck or above is a very possible situation. Single
tier rolls down my face.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I feel kind of the same way though.
As long as you're playing.
Okay. A lot of it depends on your day-to-day matchups too. Like,
yeah.
So like, I met the guy who got 6th place at Fort Wayne. Like, he came to my locals, and he played Gudra, and it was one card off of the list I was playing.
Really? That's either you got to make it in your head. Like, it's either a really good feeling because you're like, yeah, I made the right call, or it's a really bad feeling because you sit and think like, that means I'm bad. That's me.
I don't think I'm bad because you know who hit 3 Duraludon that day? I did. Do you know how many Duraludon he hit? 0.
None.
He hit 0 Duraludon that day. And I was like, well, that's why. I played 3 Duraludon that day, which is like an awful matchup for Gudra. So like tournament runs are very dependent. Like there's just a luck factor.
You're right.
Exactly.
There's a luck factor in how you draw and a luck factor in how you get matched up.
Hey, you know what? I've got championship points now because I went to a single league challenge and came in 4th of the 20 people there, so I'm not complaining.
Ooh, how many points is that? 3?
10.
Ooh.
I have 10 CP. That's the most I've ever had.
So, going back to that tournament you said, if I look at a lot of the recent tournaments, especially on Limitless,
yeah,
like, it's the Moltres variants of Lost Box that have come out on top. The last late night that was this week,
I am unsurprised.
Came out on top.
I am unsurprised.
I'm just saying, it is putting up results, and it is currently I think at the current moment, it is the flavor of Lost Box I would be playing going forward, until the next set comes out where you replace Moltres with Zamazenta.
I'm just going to caution people on like taking limitless results as a indicator that things are going to work.
Yep.
For multiple reasons. One, I saw a Palkia Ice Rider deck win a late night once. Ice Rider has never been in like a top cut. I have also seen, especially recently, like Limitless is not seeing the player turnout because of Pokemon TCG Live and all of its issues.
A couple things there, if you don't mind me cutting in there. That is kind of changing because a lot more tournaments are hitting the higher 100, even 300 numbers. So nature is healing now that we aren't kind of split between two groups. Now that we're all having to be on one.
My issue is also that TCG Live is also like still broken.
Yeah. They've had issues with the late nights the last 2 weeks that they've been doing them.
I played in a tournament a couple weeks ago just for funsies. Like it wasn't late night.
Mm-hmm.
The game just broke like in the middle of a match, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Yep.
There's like no protocol for that. And so I just like dumped. I'm just like, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm done. Like my opponent played Escape Rope and I just couldn't choose a Pokemon.
The other thing, too, when it comes to looking at and comparing not only the online tournament results on like those Limitless pages that we're looking at here and getting a lot of our information from today, but also looking at things like the other tournaments in other places, namely the big, huge, giant Japanese tournaments that have like 3,000 people in them. You have to make sure that you keep in mind what format that thing is playing, because in the Limitless tournaments,
they're also best of one.
That's what I was getting to, yeah. In the Limitless tournaments, it's up until the top 8, best of 1 with open deck lists. So if you are relying on some kind of surprise like a lot of things have, then it's not going to be as good. And compared to a non-Japanese regional type level where you're going through the event doing best of 3 matches for 50 minutes, decks that have a little bit more inherent consistency instead of something that has a little bit more pop, pizzazz, wow, surprise factor tend to do a little bit better in that tournament format than anything else. That goes for looking at things like League Cups and League Challenges as well. If you're following folks on Twitter that have been doing a lot of things there, sometimes those League Cups, you've got to look and see if was it a best of 1? Was it a best of 3? Did it only do that at the top 8? And deck building really reflects that, because sometimes if it's best of 3, you can do things a different way. If it's best of 1, you can do things a different way. And if your deck shifts to that midway through, you have to have a deck adaptable if you're going to go to these League Cups where it's best of 1 till you get to top 8, then it's best of 3. You have to have a deck that adapts to both those situations. At NAIC, you do not. You have to have your deck built to best of 3 every time. So it's really hard to kind of think about that. And honestly, I think you and I were talking, Thatch, or maybe I was watching a YouTube video, or maybe both. One of the reasons that I'm on Arceus right now...
I'm flattered that you think that my opinions are as good as YouTube videos.
You almost copied an Omnipoke deck list, so...
I did accidentally. I did accidentally. That is true.
One of the reasons that I like the Arceus deck right now is because that does, with its inherent consistency game to game, that does really well in a best of 3 environment. So that's why one of the reasons I'm doing it.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, this is just general advice, right? Like that. I feel like I say like a best of 1 versus best of 3 a lot, but that is very good advice.
We talk as if we are professionals, even though none of us are.
Whoa. Seth has 10 CP, okay?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, excuse you.
Excuse you. Seth only needs 300.
I may not quite be on the radar to the Pokemon Company for them to send me a box to open on stream, but you know what? I've got 10 CP, and I've been to 4 regionals.
You're not a cute TCG opening girl, that's why, Seth.
Yeah, well, the other reasons too. Like a lot of other people do a really good job with those.
No, I don't disagree.
I want to get PUCL on the radar. I want us to get sent.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Because you and I and Clod and all of us are smart. Dang it!
I mean, we know what we're doing, right? I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that you and I are not good players. I think right now, one, there's definitely like, I'm speaking for me and you, particularly Seth, not Clod, because Clod hasn't joined this regional yet.
Yeah, Clod.
I'm sorry that I do things sometimes.
I'm prefacing this with yet. Okay?
Yet. Good.
I do believe there is a time when the 3 of us will all be at a regional together.
Yeah.
I think a lot has to do with like confidence. Right? In your deck list.
Yeah, go. That's good.
Like, I'm going to be completely honest, because a lot of it comes down to confidence. Like, I noticed a stark difference in myself when one day I finally went from being like 2-2 constantly at locals to winning locals one week. Like at that moment, I go, I am a decent player.
Yep.
I can actually play the game. So like I really had it, like that was the moment where it kind of flipped for me. And even now, like people at my league, it's just really bad. I feel really bad for this because like somebody like I went to that league challenge a couple weeks ago. That's probably the last time I played Pokemon IRL. Because I just like I like this format, but I don't at the same time because like in my brain I'm like I want to play something that I feel comfortable with and I know can win. And the problem is I'm confident in no deck to being able to win everything.
Fair.
Which is both good and bad for the format.
Yes.
And so like I just haven't had like the inspiration to be like I want to go and I want to play. But like before that, like I went to the league challenge and like I saw one of the regulars. We got matched up round 1, and he goes, "Yeah, I saw I got matched up against you." And I'm like, I might as well just call it a loss. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
And I'm just like, oh, don't feel that way.
Wow.
I'm like, don't feel that way. Like,
But also, thank you.
yeah. I mean, like, one, I took it as a compliment, and like, two, I'm just like, I feel really bad because like I think we're all good players. Like, because the guy I was playing against, like, I think is a pretty decent player. I was like, when he said that to me, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that I was that scary to all of you.
Right.
And then like, and then there's like the player who's like the best, who's considered like the best in the local scene. Like I walked into the tournament and he says, I am so upset that you're here because you're the only one that I'm scared of playing against. And I was just like, what? What happened?
That's a really cool feeling, honestly.
I'm like, where did this reputation come from?
And I think I'll comment on that too. And I noticed, like, just with us talking and all the prep and all that kind of stuff for the Fort Wayne thing that we went to together, I'll tell you here, you had a real interesting tone shift on one of those like weeks or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
You were like, it was that confidence thing that you said.
Yeah.
Where you had a grip on what your deck does every time. You weren't learning it, and you were just going into it with more confidence in yourself that you'll be able to do well at all the events that are in front of you, and that had a huge effect.
It's really bad that it's just like a self-help book just does wonders, right? Like the equivalent of like
it's
a self-help book, right? Like it's go ahead, Clod. I want you to tell your story. I'm so sorry.
So I went to one of my locals, and I decided I was torn between. All right, am I going to play this like Zamazenta Lost Box? And I'm like, I was thinking about it for a while, and I'm like, no, I just want to have fun. I'm like, so I pulled out the one deck that I knew inside and out, Rotom V-Star.
Yes.
Because I had been playing nothing but Rotom V-Star online, and I love it with a burning passion. And I still love it now, even though it's not as good, and I want it to be better, even though it's not.
It still wasn't good back then, but continue.
Oh, but he got the style points.
No, Rotom V-Star, it's not that it isn't, it's just, it's slightly slower than what the best decks at the time were, being Lugia and Lost Box.
I agree with you.
So, me rolling into the tournament, I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. Round 1, Arcdura.
Oof.
You know, when you're playing Sky Sealstone with Rotom V, that matchup isn't very difficult. Especially when on turn, I knock out Arceus turn 2, and turn 3 I knock out Duraludon V-Star for game.
Yep.
It's like, you can do a whole bunch, and it's like, alright, well, that was easy. And granted, all this was best of 1. And then, granted, at the time, I was playing, I think double or triple Roxanne combo with it, because if you Roxanne someone, there weren't a lot of ways out of it. Even, unless, had the draw power. So I ended up going 5-0 that league challenge, winning every matchup. Granted, I played Gudra, I played Rayquaza Lost Box, played Lugia, I played, I think, Zoro Box as well. And then I just disappeared for a week or two, and I came back, and everyone's like, oh, you're back. We were wondering, you've been the talk of the town the past past week, because everyone's like,
I know. Isn't that weird?
this random guy came in, played Rotom V-Star,
kicked all of our butts,
demolished everybody, and then just disappeared.
Vanished into the ether.
That's how I feel right now, because I haven't gone in 3 weeks.
And when the world needed him most.
And granted, and I played the deck because, one, I wanted to have fun, and granted, I got very lucky. I can't deny that I got super lucky that entire day, because half of my hands were like, alright, well, this is pretty much a brick unless I draw the card I need to at the, turn 1. I'm like, oh, that's it, that's nice. And we were able to go off to the races. And, I got very lucky on people misplayed versus me, because they didn't know how to play it, and, it's more about having fun with your deck than it is about, especially the local scene.
I'm not gonna say I don't want to say having fun with your deck, because you should have fun with every deck, but to some extent, because you're playing the game. right? But I want to say, like, if you know your deck, that's definitely a way different feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Than not, right? Like, that's a completely different feeling. Just being like, yes, I know. What was really bad was, like, I knew 2 really good decks before we went into Fort Wayne. And, like, Seth will vouch for this, because, like, we both accidentally landed on the same deck, which I think was our second favorite of all of the decks we've been playing. Gudra V-Star was the second favorite of all the decks Seth and I had played up to Fort Wayne. The reason I went down to Gudra was this is the one I had to think the least on.
Yep.
And honestly, I think that's, like, kind of a strategic play for tournaments, like bigger tournaments, just because you don't have to, like, 9 rounds is a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
You can end up playing 27 games of Pokemon TCG that day. It's a lot of Pokemon TCG games to play within an 8-hour time period. I just wanted to be like, I just want something that kind of drives itself. And Gudra, in the way that I put it, and I'm probably wrong to some extent, if Gudra doesn't work because Gudra does one thing, it's Gudra's fault. It's not my fault.
So I do want to make sure we talk something about the next format, because I know we've gone on for a while on this.
Yes. Of course.
What are we most excited for, I guess, kind of things? Because we're not going to do like a set review or anything like that.
No.
There's some cards that are coming out that we're either excited about or terrified of.
There are a lot of new... I think there's a couple of new decks and formats that... or things that spring from the next format.
I think the next format is... there's Drifloon, which is dumb.
Well, the big thing is Chen Pao comes with, good, reliable water.
Oh, well, it's like Capacious Bucket, but a Pokemon.
Yes, but it's showing a lot of results right now.
No, it which is good. I mean, the meta one is slowed down, like you said. So, like, Qian Pao can activate again. And Palkia V-Star exists. Actually, the V-Battle deck just came out this week as well. So, you can go probably buy one Palkia V-Battle deck and probably have enough Palkia to last you, like, until it's gone. You don't even need to buy 2 like Mew.
No, but the other there's a lot of stuff that comes out in this set, though. That's, exciting.
Yeah, well, Ayano is a very big thing. We were talking about that before this. But Ayano is a good card that, so Marnie was in D block, which got rotated out. And before that we had N, which was...
This is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, well, this is mostly Hand Disruption, right? Because Hand Disruption, I think, is good in Pokemon because because most cards get revealed to your opponent, so your opponent can kind of get an idea of what's in your hand in most games, or at least like big things that you can be making plays with. Because like I'm thinking of like Pokegear or Lumineon or stuff like that. Especially if your opponent plays like a really awkward early Lumineon. I've seen that happen before, and I'm like sometimes I question that play, like with an early Lumineon, like after you've played a supporter or something like that. It's in their hand, and so you can just like shuffle it back in or put it on the bottom of the deck in the case of Marnie / Ayano.
If you look at the Japan lists, I know, like, with a grain of salt, a lot of them are running Chen Pao and Palkia, or like Origin Form Palkia, as a combo in itself. The other list that I've seen come out is there's been a lot of Ting Lu with Koraidon as a possibility that's been showing up a little bit as like
yes. Oh my gosh. I hate it.
It's slow, but it works really well. I'm seeing a lot of...
What does the Tinglu do, Claude? It turns off abilities if it has a damage counter on it, right? And then it's got an attack that places damage counters on 2 things on the bench, so it automatically turns off those things' abilities?
And maybe you can combo that with a Hawlucha.
Gross.
Exactly.
Yeah. That sounds awful.
It turns off abilities, which, is a very popular thing. I've seen a lot of Noivern GX pop up in, like, fringe lists here and there just because...
Drago, baby.
EX, not GX. GX.
EX, sorry. Noivern EX. My mistake.
GX was, like, 2018, bro.
Like, that's popping up as in a couple of things. I've seen the new Wings of Unity show up as a great budget option. That's like, Night March Light. That can work.
Yeah, that. Okay.
Like, it had, like, granted, it's not the fastest thing, but it's a good one single prize deck that, like, is very consistent. Granted, it's small.
The next set I think is honestly more exciting than Scarlet and Violet base set. I'm going to be completely honest.
You want to know what I'm most excited for next set?
Meowscarada.
Other than Iono, which is a retaliation card in addition. It's not just Hand Disruption because it's also based on your prizes. So it's a retaliation card, I'm going to call it. But the other thing that I'm most excited for is Super Rod.
Super Rod.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Pokemon and energy recovery in one card again. It's like Ordinary Rod, but you can do any combination.
This is Ordinary Rod on steroids. You know what's funny, Seth? I just bought because I knew Super Rod was coming back.
Yep. I bought a ton.
I bought some Neo Super Rod cards.
I bought a ton of them. I've got a truckload of Super Rods.
You want to send me some just for fun?
Yeah, if you buy them on TCG Play.
No.
Yeah. PoCo 5 for 5% off.
Oh, let me look at that now and see if there's anything.
I forgot about that.
You can go ahead and get those things over there. But we have not only that, I like Super Rod's great because Super Rod was also a card in the XY format. Actually, fun fact.
Yes, it was.
It's the exact same card where it's 3 Pokemon, 3 energy. It is Ordinary Rod plus.
Well, kind of. It's 3 cards in any combination. It's Pokemon and energy. You can put 3 back in any combination.
I think that is perfectly fine because, in all honesty, I feel like anytime that I put all 4 cards back with Ordinary Rod, I was just always throwing the 4th card in there just because I could.
Just because, yeah.
And not because I needed it, right? Like, there were a lot of times where, like, in Gudra, for instance, like when I Ordinary Rod, I'd be like, well, I guess I've got the V and the V star there, but I really only need the V star. And so, like, I don't feel like it's that much of a loss, and I feel like you can get a little bit more utility out of it. Like, there's a lot of times in Lost Box where you use Ordinary Rod, and you only really want the energy. You don't care about the Pokemon. I think that's something that we can see some play with.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course.
I'm really excited for Super Rod and Iono, and the Squawkabilly, actually.
The Squawkabilly, we should have talked about Squawkabilly.
What does Squawkabilly do?
You discard your hand, draw 6.
But on the condition that it can only be used on your first turn.
Okay.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah, Squawkabilly EX, that is its condition. You put it on your bench, it can sit there on your bench, and it can activate the ability at any point on your first turn.
Wait,
it's
really?
not when it comes from hand. It's not when it plays like that. It's not like Dedenne, where it has to be put from hand to bench. You can nest ball it out and then activate it, but it has to be turn 1.
Oh, okay. My understanding was more if it was a Dedenne. I didn't realize it was just on the first turn. That is good to know. Because that makes me happy a little bit, actually. I really like the last format where we didn't have like a ton of Crobat outside of, like the really stupid wheezing turn of this decks. I really like that we didn't have like a ton of Crobat being played all the time because I still remember the days of $50 Shaman EX.
Yep.
I didn't want to see that happen with Squawkabilly, and I don't think it would anyway because the pull rates have just been so insane.
And it's the green one. That's the one on the card. Yeah.
So Squawkabilly EX being just first turn is very good. I really like that.
It's got a not crap attack.
Wait, where are you seeing the first turn thing? Oh no, there it is. Never mind. I just read it. You're correct. Continue.
Once during your first turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use this ability more than once each turn.
I like that because then you also don't feel a world in which you need more than one.
Yep. You just do 1, you nest ball it out turn 1, and you
get some draws.
I've seen a couple of people run what's it called? 2 as a possible in a list.
Just in case.
Just for, repeatability.
I think it'll cause a couple interesting things. It'll cause probably an uptick in collapsed stadium.
Yes.
Just to pop it off the bench after you're done with it. I think that in Arceus decks that play Sharon's Care, if it gets a damage counter on it somehow, that'll be a cool way to pull it up. It's only got 160 HP, which really, really sucks. It's really low. But I think that plus a collapsed bit will be really awesome.
Or Penny, I think, will increase in value.
Oh, yeah, Penny.
Its attack isn't that, terrible on it either.
It's not terrible. Attach 2 basics from your discard to something.
For 1 colorless? That's not terrible, if you're in a pinch. I'm into it.
1 retreat, not bad. This is the consistency Arceus needed. Because if you don't see Arceus and energy on turn 1, you're dead.
Yeah, this is not bad. I'm not upset.
Yeah. And it's the green one.
I think this is, I'm very excited for Paldea Evolved just because I think it's going to be, I don't know, I see right now, in terms of, the Earth becoming a planet, right? This is a really bad analogy. I preface this. You know, how it's still, figuring out what it actually is, and I kind of want to see what that as the format right now because we just got, we just dumped a bunch of cards and we got a bunch of new ones. I see Paldea Evolved as we finally have oceans, and things can start to form. I'm actually absolutely afraid of Obsidian Flames.
Right?
I'm scared. I'm scared for Obsidian Flays.
I'm so excited for whatever that Charizard is.
I'm not excited for the Charizard. I'm terrified of what the Charizard might bring upon the people.
Right?
Like, I'm scared that there's going to be like a couple of trainers that I want, and the Charizard's going to be complete trash competitively, and that all I want are like, I really just want like, Max Elixir or whatever's in this deck, in this set.
What else do we know about from that set? We know about the Charizard, we know about the Mewtwo, we know that Golden Go is coming in that.
Not a lot yet. We still have to wait, I think, a couple more months, because like Japan's still like hyping it up. They just hyped up the set that's in between that, because they've got like a little half set, like the 151, which has some cool stuff in it, but I don't want to talk about it here.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
time.
that's for November for us, so we'd have got a long time.
It's actually like a really interesting set. Like they're still hyping that up right now, so we don't really know a lot about Obsidian Flames yet. Yeah, I'm just really, it's gonna sell out because Charizard's in it, and Dark type Charizard at that. I'm gonna be like, but I really just want like, Max Elixir or
and
like
Erica's.
Hyper Potion. Yeah, something like, I'm just gonna want like a trainer card from it, and I'm not gonna be able to buy it because some guy's gonna be like, this Charizard's gonna be worth $600 after I grade it at Beckett, and I'm gonna hate it.
Hey, I found a base set Charizard at like essentially a Goodwill.
Oh my gosh. Did you buy it?
I absolutely did.
Thatch, what's the coupon code for Troll and Toad?
It is PuclPod5.
PuclPod5.
It is in the show notes.
Yeah. I now own a base set Charizard. I never thought I would, but now I do.
I still own mine from a kid. It's been in a binder forever.
I never had one as a kid. I never got the Charizard.
I never got the Blastoise.
Yeah, my mom brought me up all of my old, like, Pokemon cards. I found a whole bunch of the old, like, Pokemon tops. Like, remember those from the first movie?
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are cool.
I found a bunch of those, and I have a couple of, like, I have, like, an old, like, I found, like, an old Machamp I had, old, like, Hitmonchan. I have the original Sneasel EX from...
Ooh.
And I'm like, ooh, this is, like, decent. And I'm like, granted. And now I'm like, part of me is like, but now I want to complete the entire, like, tops.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
The one thing that I got that just, it was the funniest moment, and I guess this is, like, not news or whatever, but this is, like, well, I don't know what we could call it. So I go over to my parents every Sunday to watch 90 Day Fiancé and have free dinner, because that's what I do.
Free dinner. That's the best.
Yeah. And, one time I was there, and they had been cleaning out the garage. They've been at that house for 25 years now. And my dad, we found something in the garage that we think you'd like. And he goes and grabs it and just hands it to me nonchalant. It is a sealed, what was the old like base set Gyarados deck?
Oh.
Forest or whatever? I don't remember what it was.
Oh man, that's an old deck. I know which deck you're talking about.
It's like the original like structure
is
deck,
it still like wrapped?
Whatever you want to
plastic
call it.
wrapped?
It's the plastic wrap is perfect.
Oh, you gotta sell that.
Like I can only imagine what the look on my face was when he handed it to me, just like nonchalant, like, oh yeah, we found this. It was in the bottom of a box in the garage, which kept it safe from everything. Humidity, sun, everything. It's perfect. And my hands were probably shaking as I really gently put it down, looked up how much it is on TCG Player. It was like $700.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's worth a lot.
I sealed that sucker in a UV protective case and now have it on display. But yeah, it's so cool finding old stuff like that. I love the TCG.
Well, I kind of want to leave it here. We talked a lot. This is a good show.
Right, yeah.
But I know that we've talked a lot today. And there's a few more things we want to get to today.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine. Let's cut it short.
That's right. We're going to cut it here. Next time we'll be back with some more stuff. It's going to be great because there's so much TCG stuff happening right now. It's actually it's like it's turning over like really fast, which is kind of crazy. We've got the Pokemon of the episode coming up. So we are going to kick it on over, guys, to the Pokemon of the episode. We will catch you on the flip-flop.
The episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex 1004, Chi-Yu, the Ruinous Pokemon.
It's Pokemon Scarlet Dex entry states. It controls flames burning at over 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit. It casually swims through the sea of lava it creates by melting rock and sand.
All right. Well, Chi-Yu is one of those good Pokemon because we've got Regulation C going on, which allows the Ruinous Pokemon to come in. And the Ruinous Pokemon, let me tell you, are game changers.
What?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the only thing about just the abilities.
Yeah, that is a game changer, in my opinion. Only because almost every team in Regulation C is going to have a Ruinous Pokemon on it. The teams that do not have them are in the minority and sometimes perform well, but not all of them. Chi-Yu is very good because it does have the ability Beads of Ruin. Beads of Ruin decreases the special attack stat or special defense stat of every Pokemon. Mo-Chien special attack. Beads of Ruin do special attack defense, which makes Chi-Yu even better. Because Chi-Yu's base special attack is a 140 or 135. My apologies.
Yep.
Yeah, they nerfed it before the game.
They nerfed it before the game came out. It's got base 100 speed, which is pretty good. Base 120 special defense, pretty good, though it does get knocked down by 20% due to Ruinous Speeds. It
affects everyone but itself.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't affect itself.
Oh, it doesn't affect itself. Never mind. I lied. Base 80 defense, base 80 attack, and base 55 HP. So not great HP, but it's still pretty good. Dark Fire is a decent typing. Fire type is not resisted by a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Addition to that, Fairy type is not super effective against Chi-Yu. It is neutral because of Fire typing. And its move pool is pretty decent. I mean, it's got, all of the Fire type moves, all of the Dark type moves you could ever expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't get Eruption, but, it's getting Lava Plume, Overheat, all of that stuff. It doesn't get
Overheat with Beads of Ruin is basically Eruption.
Yeah, essentially. And
in the sun.
Yeah, it's just absolutely insane. Chi-Yu is very, 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 very good. So definitely would recommend playing with Chi-Yu if you can. Which we have a VGC team for you today that includes Chi-Yu.
Woo!
So we're going to jump right into it. Our first Pokemon is Chi-Yu. It's holding choice specs. It's got Beads of Ruin, obviously. 244 HP, 68 defense, 4 special attack, 52 special defense, and 140 speed. Modest nature, Heat Wave, so you can hit 2 people at once. Dark Pulse, Terra Blast, because you can Terra type into water, which I think is kind of odd, but if people really want to... Yeah, it's bulky, so I guess you could... Did you say Chi-Yu is bulky?
Look at its EV spread.
No, it's for other Palafins, that's why you
Terra it's water. Mostly for Palafin, yes. Palafin is like one of the most centralizing Pokemon of this meta. Overheat as well, like we were just talking about, choice specs, Overheat with Beads of Ruin. Sounds absolutely terrifying. We do have a Palafin.
Because of centralizing.
Yeah, Palafin and holding Mystic Water with 0 to hero. It is got the Terra type water because I don't think you should run Palafin with anything else because Palafin's not looking to be defensive. It's just looking to punch things.
Yep.
It's got the Adamant nature with Jet Punch, Wave Crash, Haze, and Protect. The EV spread, of course, it's a very basic EV spread of 164 HP, 252 attack, 4 defense, 4 special defense, and 84 speed. What I hate VGC spreads. They're just so non-intuitive.
It's a standard Palafin. I mean, you haze when you need to haze, you protect, you jet punch.
The haze is actually there mostly for Dondozo.
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
Because that's still like a semi-relevant thing.
Yep. Also for overheats on your Chi-Yu.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think of... Ugh.
Yep.
Yuck.
Isn't that a fun combo? Who would have thought?
I hate that a lot.
This is an ultra-offensive team.
So, to go with that, we have 2 more ultra-offensive Pokemon from, Scarlet and Violet, because Scarlet and Violet only introduced pure offense.
Disagree, Wo-Chien.
Liar.
Okay, I think the offense would completely outweigh the defense.
You are absolutely correct. I do not think they only invited offense to the party.
No, you're right. They have a couple of defense, but yes. Anyways, Fluttermane, with the booster energy... Terra type Grass. Eevee is 228 HP, 156 defense, 4 special attack, 4 special defense, 116 speed, modest nature, with Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Protect. I think that's a fairly standard Fluttermane just to hit things hard. I'm pretty sure the booster energy goes towards speed. I could be wrong.
I do not know I think it is speed in this scenario. Yes,
because we're not doing much special attack. No. So I assumed it's speed. So you can go first.
It is speed. It's Iron Bundle typically goes for speed.
Oh, no, this is Fluttermane.
Oh, never mind. My apologies.
But we do have an Iron Bundle on the team with a Focus Sash, Terra-type Ghost, with 4 HP, 252 Special Attack, 252 Speed, Timid Nature, Freeze Dry, Icy Wind, Hydro Pump, Protect. I mean, I don't think there's anything that can survive, that is not, neutral to Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump. And then Icy Wind to support.
That is a hard ask. You are probably correct.
I don't think there is. There might be.
I'm trying to think.
Empoleon, I don't think is around. But even then,
Empoleon does not exist in this meta currently.
But that's it. Take us home with the defensive boys, Seth.
You bet. I, of course, took the defensive backbone because it's me, folks. Big surprise. We've got Arcanine holding safety goggles to keep them dang mushrooms from messing it up. Its ability is, of course, Intimidate, and its Terra type is Grass, because that tends to be the best Terra type for fire types. EV spread is 252 HP, 4 attack, 4 defense, 204 special defense, and 44 speed with a jolly nature. It's pretty specially defensive, plus the Intimidate makes it a very good all-rounder backbone. Moveset is Flare Blitz, Extreme Speed, Will-O-Wisp, and Protect. The Extreme Speed probably tells you why the Iron Bundle is running Ghost Terra type.
It is.
Keep that from hitting it.
It's mostly not for Arcanine, it's mostly for Dragonites, but yes, you are correct.
Yep. But yeah, we've got the bulky boy Arcanine, I think that's mostly fairly standard Arcanine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I need to breed one if I'm actually going to get into VGC.
Sometimes there's a Snarl.
Yeah, but that requires mixed. So anyway, the last Pokemon is the Grass type in our accidental fire, water, grass core.
Grass.
And
God.
It is Amoonguss holding a Citrus Berry. The ability is Regenerator as usual. Terra type is Water. And EVs are 244 HP, 244 defense, and 20 special defense. Very physically defensive little guy. Bold nature with the moves Pollen Puff for some healing, Spore for some sleeping, Rage Powder for some anger management, and Protect for some VGC strategy.
Protect for VGC strategy. Yes. Yeah, these are, I don't know, this team looks fun. I haven't tried it yet because it's Friday, and I usually try them on Friday and Saturday morning.
Yep. Whoops.
Whoopsie doodle.
Oh, well.
So this team does look fun. It looks more fun than the Wo-Chien team I've been playing. I've been like, yeah, I should probably play Chi-Yu. Wo-Chien teams are it's so fun because I'm playing this one with it's got Perish Song in it on the Fluttermane, and it just feels really good when it gets off. When you're just if you get up a 3-2 advantage against your opponent and you can click Perish Song before they knock out another Pokemon, you just feel really good.
Then just chill.
You're just I think I can just handle 3 turns.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And then you end up winning and it feels really good. So yeah. But this one, this is hyper offense. Crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Definitely recommend.
Looks like fun though.
No, I think it's a fun team.
Games that only take maybe 5 minutes to play.
Welcome to VGC. All right. Well, if you want this team, you can check it out on our Discord. If not, you can always get it if you're a patron at patreon.com/puclpodcast. We'll distribute it. All right. On that note, though, we're going to kick it on over, guys, to our mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails!
Welcome to the mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com, and we might read your email on the show, depending on how it goes. We usually have a prompt. Last week, we asked you what your Pokemon journey was, and wow, did we get responses. There are so many of them.
Yeah, it was awesome.
One, we have all these emails put aside so that we can read them on future shows, probably next week as well. But we're also I'm working on redesigning the website. Hopefully by the end of this month, it'll be ready, and we're going to dump all of these on there, even the ones we've read, so that everybody's story is kind of cataloged. Because this is a great way to get to know people in the community, and holy crap, a lot of these stories are really awesome. I did actually read every single one of these as they came in this week. I enjoyed all of them, so thank you for sending them in. Please don't stop. This segment, as always, though, is brought to you by the energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
And we'll give the Green Tauros badge to anybody who had a good life, I guess, this week. And or is a good storyteller.
What a weird qualifier.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, you sent in a good email, and it's just like, well, your email depends on how good your life was with Pokemon, I guess. I am very excited to read these. So without further ado, because some of them are long this week, I do want to jump into it. So our first one is going to be from Lambo, actually the guy who edits the Poke of the Episode segment. I'm going to let Seth go ahead and do that one.
You betcha. Hey guys, Lambo here. I don't feel that my personal Pokemon journey is extremely unique, but like a lot of members of the podcast, I'm old enough to have been there from the beginning. While I was too young to understand how to properly play and beat my copy of Pokemon Blue, I have fond memories of playing Crystal and Emerald every day in after-school extended day. I was lucky enough to have participated in all of the nostalgia-filled Pokemon classics, like printing N64 snap photos at the Blockbuster kiosk, collecting the golden slabs from Burger King, buying the cards from my local KB Toys, and constantly checking for new anime VHS tapes anytime I went to the store.
This sounds like my life. I feel
right?
Like, yeah, this like hits home. You know what's really bad? So like, I have legitimately been in the market, like casually, not like hardcore in the market, but I've casually been in the market for a Blockbuster kiosk.
Oh my gosh.
No, like I'm not even kidding. Like,
I believe it.
I kind of want to buy one.
Yeah.
If one pops up like close enough to me for like the right price, I will go buy it.
Yeah.
I will go
You heard
buy
it here, folks.
Why?
Why? I just think, okay, like from like a Pokemon memorabilia standpoint, Claude, I just think it is one of the coolest things to own. Like,
Fair.
Okay, fair enough. I can't argue with that.
I think from like anything from like 98 to like late 2000 in terms of Pokemon memorabilia is just really cool to have because it just captures a really specific time in the Pokemon franchise where they were growing faster than they had ever expected and they didn't really know how to handle it. So they were just kind of doing everything. And there's a lot of crazy stuff from that time period. Now everything's a little bit more like uniform. But like, come on, like we haven't had a Pokemon jam jar.
I still use them as cups every now and again.
Right? We haven't had those in a very long, like ever. We're never going to get another kiosk either. Though they did come out with those like really cute cameras to hook up to new Pokemon Snap on your Switch, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll continue on here. Unfortunately, like probably most people my age outside of this podcast, I dropped off between games Gens 4 and 5 because liking Pokemon wasn't really cool during that time of my life of middle school to high school.
Incorrect, but I mean, that's fine. It's always been cool.
I got that. Yeah. He continues, my adult wallet regrets that since I had to buy all of those games in the past couple of years. Oh. It wasn't until college that I jumped back in with Generation 6, and it has been a constant part of my life ever since. I look forward to hearing from the rest of the co-hosts about their personal journeys. Sincerely, Lambo.
I don't want to hear about your journey yet, Seth. I'm going to save that for another episode.
I'm holding it. I'm ready.
Good,
I'm writing it in my head.
I don't want to know anything about you ever again.
Once upon a time.
All right. Next up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Claude.
I'm going to say we have Thomas. I don't want to reveal the last name just because...
protect the guilty.
Anyways, Thomas says, my history with Pokemon technically begins in the late 90s, early 2000s. A family friend got me into collecting trading cards and watching the anime. I watched the anime on occasion and had a VHS copy of Mewtwo Strikes Back that I watched frequently. On a side note, I found my original soundtrack for the first movie.
Oh.
Like the CD full thing, and I put it into my car, and now it's,
Is that the To Be a Master CD?
No, this is the,
No, they had an album.
Original movie. That was a separate one.
Yeah, they had a movie soundtrack as well. Yeah.
Every single time I hear the phrase on the road, my brain goes to Viridian City.
Yep. Oh, that's on there.
Seth, you should have told me. We could have listened to that soundtrack the entire way to Fort Wayne.
I know, but we were too busy talking about how there's nothing in Ohio but farms.
That's true.
Okay. Anyways, the same family friend gave me a copy of Pokemon Red, though I always wanted Pokemon Blue because blue is my favorite color. When I got a Game Boy Advance SP, I played Pokemon Red all the time. I never really made an effort to learn type effectiveness aside from the ones that would be obvious. I just liked certain Pokemon and made sure to use them. The same went for when I played Pokemon Coliseum. I always ended up brute forcing my way through with the Pokemon that looked the strongest. Pokemon was never really more than something I enjoyed on a moderate basis. I had a copy of Pokemon Gold that I played, but most of the time I was just playing Pokemon Red. However, all this changed with Generation 6. which I consider to be the real start of my love for Pokemon. I got a Nintendo 3D XL for my birthday in 2014. I decided I wanted to go back into Pokemon a little bit, so I bought a copy of Pokemon X and thought Journeys looked cooler. Since I tend to pick the water starter first in all my other games, I chose Froakie. From this point on, Pokemon became a full-blown hobby. I had gotten at least one copy of each main series game since Generation 6. I had a lot more free time in college, so I played the crap out of Pokemon X, Y, ORAS. Now that I have adult responsibilities, when I do play on my console, I am playing Pokemon almost exclusively. Fun fact, thanks to Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home, I still have the Greninja and Blastoise from my first playthrough of Pokemon X.
And one day you will eventually be able to bring them to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
One day.
One day. If Pokemon Home ever comes out.
Even though I'd gotten back into Pokemon, I never really got into anything besides the court games. I knew there was competitive Pokemon, but I never followed it. I started tuning into some of the Player Cup competitions that streamed during COVID. Then, sometime in early 2022, I started watching more and more of the in-person streams that started. I started introducing myself to the world of competitive Pokemon, and started keeping up with when regionals were happening. My love for Pokemon was growing beyond simply playing the games. I was involving myself in the entire world of Pokemon. In my mind, what fully cemented this for me was waking up at 3 a.m. each morning to watch as much of the 2022 World Championships as I could. No longer was I an enthusiast. I was a full-blown fan. Pokemon is now an actual hobby for me. Pokemon has grown slowly from a fad to an actual hobby, especially over the last 9 years since Pokemon X. Can't wait to see what the franchise has in store for the future. Pokemon is a community. It's not just a game.
Absolutely.
That's the big thing I've realized over the past, several years. I mean, especially with PUCL, there is so much more. And I'm glad that, we can convert more people over from it's just a game to, no, there is so much more. There's always people around. It's always exciting. There's always stuff to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for that, Thomas. I am the last one. I've got Coffee Lock. Hello, PUCL crew. Please join me on my nostalgic walk through my Pokemon history. On a brisk day in 1999, it was my elder brother's 8th birthday. He requested a Game Boy and Pokemon Blue. However, being the younger 4-year-old sibling at the time and having the game having a counterpart, my parents thought it best to include me in on the fun. That small decision would reverberate throughout the years. My start of Pokemon Red on my Atomic Pearl Game Boy was rocky, not understanding where to go or how to even save. All I knew was that the angry lizard in the Pokeball captivated me. I would spend hours fighting wild Pokemon, eventually getting a Charmeleon, excited when the flashing animation showed the progress I was making in the game. My brother noticed me repeating this pattern of grinding and turning it off only to start again. Taught me one of my first vocabulary words. Save.
Oh no!
No.
Okay, to be fair, I was 8, I think, when this happened, and I still, I didn't comprehend how to catch Pokemon for, the first few days. And then, because, I would just keep rebooting it, because I didn't realize that, you couldn't have multiple save files either.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I understand. A decision he would regret, leading to the constant badgering of a younger sibling for assistance. It was a positive move, however, as my ability to read grew in proportion to my desire to play the game. That is true, though, actually. Red and Blue drowned me in a euphoric nostalgia that has yet to be recaptured. Only the chip tunes of the battle theme, the absolute innocence of the world, and the immaculate pixel art can send me back to 1999. Pokemon Snap and Stadium only added to the deepen the experience, bringing these 2D sprites to life. I do remember Pokemon Stadium just being a big deal. The neighborhood friends were necessary to help Pokemon stick as it became part of the local culture. However, this is where we ended up differing. The printing of Pokemon with a Game Shark or the use of Missing Nose seemed to belittle the hours I spent in the Safari Zone trying to add a Scyther to my team, or the constant grinding of the Elite Four to get the elusive Porygon. Moving forward a few years to Gold and Silver, I was ready to tackle the next adventure with everything I had. The daily events kept me hooked, and the game and the abundance of early game Pokemon made it infinitely replayable. However, these neighborhood friends were still using hacks to make Pokemon racing through the experience to each their own, but they were confident they could beat whatever official Pokemon I had. The challenge was accepted, and I assembled my best team of Pokemon to prove that hacked Pokemon lack spirit. Actually, back then, that's a very real thing, especially with early hacks, because they probably just hacked in a Blastoise or whatever. And the EV system back then was actually pretty complicated.
Yeah.
And if you actually just play through a game with a bunch of Pokemon, they were probably going to be better than a newly hacked team. My team of Charizard, Raikou, Tyranitar, Kingdra, and Gengar, and my beloved Porygon took them on. That's actually a really good team, though. With Pokemon Stadium 2 as our arena, we began our match. Their Dragonite fell to a rock slide from Tyranitar. Their Snorlax's belly drum and Rest combination couldn't touch my Gengar with Body Slam, and Dream Eater made Rest unusable. Against all odds, I bested the hacked Pokemon, claiming victory. The story darkens later that day without my knowledge. They reset a save on my Crystal version, losing all the Pokemon I worked for the past few years.
I wouldn't be friends with these people anymore.
No. My story doesn't end there, as me and my brother kept up with all of the Pokemon releases. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Colosseum, XD, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. However, after moving and finding new friends to share Pokemon, I found everyone absent for Black and White. Being in high school, everyone's cluttered schedules didn't include Pokemon. Actually, this is like a running theme. Like, once everybody hits high school, they stop playing. That's what I learned from reading all of these emails. Leaving me to play White and White 2 in college, alone.
I did the same thing my freshman year.
I don't know. Maybe this is like a way my brain works, but like, I just didn't care. Like, if people wanted to make fun of me, they can make fun of me. But like, I liked what I liked, and they're just all dumb for not being true to themselves, I guess, to some extent.
I mean, I kind of get it. Like, granted, like, I was so busy in college that, like, if I needed to wind down and just ignore people, I would sit in my room and I would just play Pokemon White.
Dude,
I remember being on a field trip with a bunch of people, and I went off to go buy it by myself, and then just,
I don't blame you.
Oh, what'd you get? And I'm like, oh, I bought Pokemon White. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, X and Y got a bad reputation. Whoa.
No, they didn't.
What are you talking about? They brought my friend group back for more Pokemon, and those missed out on for the best generations came back for nostalgia and stayed through the releases. I think X and Y are some of the best games in
I agree.
the franchise. I honestly think X and Y are still probably my favorite. Scarlet and Violet are doing a really good job, though. Kind of upsetting that. I'm not going to lie. However, after a disappointing Ultra Sun experience and the announcement of Let's Go, I was getting fatigued with lower quality Pokemon games. After playing for a few hours, I realized it wasn't for me and moved on. I skipped Sword as well, thinking that my love for the franchise faded with time, until late 2021, when my friend introduced me to a Puckle podcast, where like-minded people who share their love and criticisms for Pokemon came together each week to talk trivia, topic, and the mailbag. Knowing that I wasn't alone in my criticisms and Game Freak finally catching up to console standards with Legends Arceus, I can officially call myself a Pokemon fan again. Now I casually play competitive VGC and look forward to each week's episode. Well, thank you, Coffee.
Well, thank you.
This may be too long to read on the show, but I wanted to share an early experience that others can hopefully relate to. Coffee Lock. Well, thank you for that. And thank you to honestly everybody else who wrote into the show.
Yeah.
There are a lot of these. So feel free to keep doing it. We will continue to put them in a folder, and the worst case, they will be on the website. Next week, we do have a mailbag question of what would you like us to answer about TCG? It will probably be read on the next TCG episode, and we'll continue to read these emails on the episode following that. So it's a little weird, but we would like to hear from you and what you would like to hear about TCG for the next episode, and competitive Pokemon for the episode before that, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So definitely send those in to puclpodcast@gmail.com. But yes, if you would like to keep up with us throughout the week, the best way to do so is come to our Discord server at pucklediscord.com. We hang out and just chill and talk Pokemon or whatever else was talked about today. All I see right now is a picture of the Amogus plush from the Sitting Cuties line.
I saw that.
And a picture of a pizzeria where they argued about the spelling of pizzeria. General.
Never.
And then, of course, you can always follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Additionally, you can watch us on Twitch when Thatch isn't busy and being taken to various restaurants throughout the week by his wife. So you can go ahead and follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/puclpodcast or youtube.com/podcast. We're probably going to start streaming on Twitch again due to the ability to easily allow people to help me nickname Pokemon on my, I don't want to call it a Whimsalock, but my global Nuzlocke, where we play through each region and we invoke Dupe's Claws on Pokemon that have helped us Hall of Fame.
Ooh,
yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, so like after we play Pokemon Red, any Pokemon that's been in Hall of Fame is Dupe's Clawsed out from every other game from there on out. Yeah.
Neat.
Isn't that fun?
You should go the opposite direction, though.
What do you mean? Oh, go backwards? I don't like that as much because I feel like it gets more challenging if you go upwards.
I think it's more challenging if you go backwards.
I kind of disagree. I think if you go upwards, it's just as challenging, if not more, going backwards. But yes, I think it's more fun as well because you get to it forces you to do newer Pokemon and stuff like that. But you could potentially like lock yourself out of Pidgey very early.
Oh no, not Pidgey.
I think Pidgeot's a pretty decent Pokemon, so don't slam my boy. Don't slam my boy.
Says only you.
Do not slam my boy. Do not slander. So if you would like to go ahead and do that, you may. If you want to support the show, best way to do it is to go to Patreon at patreon.com/puclpodcast. Of course, If you don't want to do that, I'm okay with it. But if you want to buy a TCG product, you can go to trollandtoad.com and use PuclPod5 at checkout for a discount. And it also helps the show out.
5% off your order.
Yep. Until then, I am your host, Trainer Thatch.
I am Seth Vilo.
And I am Clod 9.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.